The average on question 2A was 50%, in line with the exam average. And what we were asked to do was show how the prepaid expense, rent expense account would appear in the general ledger at the end of February, showing all the above information after it's been recorded, and prepare the account for the next period. So what we've been told is we've been given an income statement extract, and we've been told that the rent expense for February is $9,000. The facts of the case stated that this was a monthly report, so we only need to consider information for February. And we've also been told that at the beginning of the month, the prepaid rent expense account had a balance of $12,000, and at the end of the month, it had a balance of $7,000. So what we've been asked to do is piece together a prepaid expense ledger for the rent, and we can see if we just take it one step at a time, it'll be able to guide us. So we know that there's a balance of $12,000 at the start of the month on the 1st of February. We've also been told that the expense during the month was $9,000. So that would have been a credit in the prepaid rent expense account because it's decreasing, or the amount is being incurred or consumed. We've also been told that at the end of the month, the balance will be $7,000. Now we know that that will show up on the credit side. We'd also carry that balance down on the 1st of March for $7,000. And now we're kind of at the end of all the information we've been given. What we need to realize is that this asset would balance to go forward, and at the moment we need to balance it. And we can see that we can only add up the credit side, and if we do that, we'll get $16,000. So if we go and transfer that number to the debit side, what we can see is that we're going to be missing an amount there, and what that represents is the amount of prepaid rent that must have been paid this month for future periods. So we know that the balance, the total is $16,000, there's an opening balance of $12,000, so that must mean that during this period $4,000 of prepaid rent was paid. And now that we have that information, we've got the entire ledger. The marks for this question, we had one mark for quite a bit of work. You had to do the opening balance, the closing balance, and the balancing procedure. You also had to get one mark for the figure that you had to figure out for the actually prepaid rent for this month, which was $4,000. And then you also got one mark for taking out the amount of rent that was consumed during the period, which was $9,000. Looking at the mark breakdown, 28% of students couldn't get one mark on this question, showing that it was quite difficult. 25% got 1, 17% got 2, and 30% got 3. So a lot of disparity in the results here. Basically the same number of kids who got 0 also got 100% as well. The examiner's comments, the average is 1.5, and the examiner's comments was some students reverse the debits and credits. So remember that a prepaid rent expense account is an asset, so rules of debits and credits are going to apply for an asset. And lastly, the key was remembering that prepaid rent was an asset. If you can remember that and remember the difference between an asset and an expense, that's going to help you balance a ledger like this.